Hey everybody, welcome back to the Pursuing Excellence podcast. I'm your host, Jaden Gay, and today on the podcast, I have former UNLV and Cincinnati Bengals running back Ickey Woods joining me today. Thank you for joining us today on the podcast, Ickey. I'm
Oh
looking
man,
forward
you
to it,
welcome,
man.
man. Thanks for having me, bro. I appreciate you having me.
Yes, sir, no problem. And before we get into it, guys, just want to make sure you please subscribe, comment. You can follow us on YouTube. We're also on Spotify, Anchor Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your favorite podcasts. You can find us on there, Pursuing Excellence. So yeah, you guys go ahead and do that. But Ickey, how's everything going with you, man? You and the family, how's everything going right
Oh
now?
man, everything is going good, man. Just trying to get by this new variant of this COVID, man. That's
Right,
about
yeah.
it, man. Trying to stay safe and stay out the way. This new strand is very contagious, but I've had both my shots and my booster shot, so they say with this strand, I'll just get a little flu-like symptoms like I do every year, and I'll be okay. I'm gonna still be here. So those of you who hadn't got vaccinated, please get yourself vaccinated, man, because it does help.
Yes, very important. Very important. So Ickey, talk about, man, how did you get into football? How did this all start, man, and what made you want to pursue it collegiately and then obviously professionally as a career? So talk about the origin story there and how that came
Well,
about.
it all started when I was a little young fella. My mom used to take me and my brother and set us in front of TV every Sunday to watch the NFL. And, I told my mom, that's what I want to do. I want to play professional ball. And I started, I tried to try when I was 8 years old, man, but went for the tryouts. And what you do is when you go for the tryout, they ask you your birthday.
Right.
And the whole night before I practiced, 228-66, 228-1966. And then when it was my turn to go up there, the coach kind of yelled at me, "What's your birthday, boy?" And I was like, "Oh," and I just froze, man. I threw a break, man. I started crying and ran out, man. So I didn't get to play that year. So came back the next year when I was 9, and yeah, it was my birthday, 228-66, man. So I was able to play and started, and I was bigger than most kids growing up. So I've always had the physical ability, and then I just love playing the game, man. So that's how it all started, and I was fortunate enough to start my sophomore year on the varsity team, and from then on, man, it just took off. Fortunate enough to get a college scholarship to UNLV, and then Cincinatti Bengals.
Right. So, Matt, talk about, at UNLV when you were a freshman, you guys actually went 11-2, and you went to the California Bowl and you won like 30-13, man, and then your senior year, you led the nation in rushing. You broke out, led the nation rushing with 1,658 yards. So talk about those experiences and overall the college football world and what that was like for you.
Well, when I got to UNLV, I wasn't real big in school, so I wanted to get there and I wanted to do it in 4 years. They wanted to redshirt me my first year. I didn't want a red shirt, so I played a little bit sparingly, and then our starting fullback got hurt just before the California Bowl, hurt his back, and then when he got in the game, he re-injured his back, and so I got a chance to play in the California Bowl. And the great thing about it is the California Bowl was in my hometown of Fresno, California. So I got to play in front of a lot of my hometown family and friends, and it was great. I was able to rush for, I think I had about 30 yards on like 7 carries and a touchdown. So I was able to get in there and do my thing, man. And then the next 2 years, I really didn't do anything, man. I just for some reason, a little nagging injury here, nagging injury there. And then I was sort of a rebel type of guy, man. And I didn't know if I wanted to do football. I actually wanted to become a big dope boy, because back in those days, that's when the dope thing hit the scene. The dope thing hit the scene, and I had a couple of homeboys who was doing that. And they had the nice cars, pocket full of money, And I said, well, why am I doing this football thing, man? I need to get in that game. And so
Right.
I went home, man. I was going to decide to get into it. And my homeboy, who was like a brother to me, he was in it real tough. So I talked to him like, yo, man, I'm ready to come on board, man. Let's get this thing going. He was like, all right, well, meet me later on tonight. We hook up, put us a little game plan together, and we get after it. I said, cool. So for some reason, by the grace of God, we didn't hook up that night. And then I get a call about 4:30 in the morning. They telling me my homeboy was shot 19 times and got his throat cut. Wow. And I was like, oh, no, that ain't for me. I said, well, it's time for me to get my foot back in school and do this thing another way. So I go back to school. I was running a little late, and they had just hired a new running back coach, so I didn't know who the coach was. And so I was scheduled to be back on Monday, but I didn't get back till Wednesday. And I was in the dining hall, and I used to always wear my hat like cocked to the side like that. And this guy come up to me and say, son, take that hat off. And I looked up at him like, who the hell is you?
Right.
Tell me hat off. I gave him a real bad look. And he seen that look, and he looked at me and said, I'm John Montgomery, the new running back coach. I said, oh, okay, coach.
Right.
So
let me take this hat off. Yeah.
Let me take this hat off. So I take my hat off. He said, son, I want to see you in my office in 15 minutes. So, all right. So I just sat down to eat, man, scarfed my food down, jetted out to the football complex. Man, I get to the football complex. I walk in his office. And he said, son, sit down. He said, first off, I want to let you know, a lot of people around here told me that, you ain't shit, and I'll probably be wasting my time. He said, but I'm going to tell you like this. He said, we're going to start from square one from this day forward. Anything you've done in the past, I don't want to hear about it. I don't even want to know about it. We start from square one right here. He said, I just want to ask you one question. I said, yeah, coach. He said, do you want to play in the NFL? I was like, yes, coach. I said, well, I kind of looked at him like, coach, come on, man. Every young player want to play in the NFL. And I was like, yeah, coach, I sure do. He said, I'll tell you what, son. I give you my word today. If you give me 110%, do everything I tell you to do, and you give me 110%, I guarantee you'll be a first or second round draft choice. So I looked at him like, man, who is this cat? I don't even know this cat. He must be blowing smoke up my butt. I don't know this cat. So I said, well, wait, man, what you got to lose? You ain't done nothing in 3 years. This your senior year. What you got to lose? I said, let's try it his way. Let's do what he tell us to do and see if we can make something out of this, man. And I did that, man. He came in and showed that he cared about me as a person and not a number, not a football player. So he got to know me and all that, man. We got to be real good friends. Like you said, I ended up leading the nation in rushing, and I was the first player taken in the second round, the 31st player taken in the NFL draft in 1988.
Yes, sir. Yes. So speaking on that note, man, what was it like getting your name called on draft night? Because that's like you said, it's every kid's dream, right? Going to the NFL and everything like that. So talk about what that night was like for you and what was going through your head as all that was processing.
Well, man, what I was excited because I thought I was going to be a first round draft choice. I lead the nation in rushing and, the number one ground game. So I just knew that I was going to go in the first round. And, we were talking to the Bears with the 24th pick in the draft. And so I thought they were going to take me, but they took Brad Mustard out of Stanford. And so the first round ended. I'm pissed. Because I didn't go first round,
Right,
yeah. I was going first round. Led the nation in rushing. You mean I was going first round? So I'm a little upset. They took Ironhead Hayward. New Orleans Saints took Ironhead, and I beat him out for the nation's leading rusher. So I was a little teased off, but we happened to be friends after that year too, man, because we had the same agent. But I was pissed, man, and then the next night, the start of the second round, I was the first player taken in the second round. So when they called my name, I was on cloud
Yeah.
nine, brother. Oh yeah, I'm with the NFL team now, the Cincinnati Bengals. I say, oh, I'm in the NFL now. So I was on, I went from an all-time low to a real emotional high because
Right.
your name finally get called. And I was real happy with that, man. And got to Cincinnati, and we made it to a Super Bowl my rookie year. So I was real happy, man. Once your name is called, all the pressure is relieved. All the anxiety is gone. You somewhere.
Absolutely. Yeah. So talk about, the NFL and how different it is from every other level of football and what is expected of you, what's demanded of you, how, what your training's like, all that type of stuff. Just in general, the whole world of the NFL compared to college or high school. Talk about that for a
Well,
second.
as when you get to the NFL, the one thing about the NFL, when you get there, the talent level goes sky high.
Right.
Because everybody's good there. It's not just most teams have 5, 6, 7 to 10 good players, but when you get to the NFL, everybody's good.
Yeah.
So when you get to the NFL, you got the best of the best, and it becomes more of a mental game than it is a physical game. You got to be mentally prepared when you get to that level. And I was fortunate enough that when I got to Cincinnati ran some of the same exact offense that I ran in college, but they just had different terminology. So I had to learn the terminology, but the plays were pretty much the same. What they ran was pretty much identical to what I ran in college, but I just had to learn the terminology, the wording. The wording was different, but the
Right.
plays were basically the same.
Okay. Yeah, and like I say, man, it's like you said, everybody's good at that level. It's not just one team that's like not, college where Alabama's, like the best team, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's good at the NFL. You're
Everybody's
competing.
good at that NFL level,
You're
right?
you're competing, every down with guys who are really good. so
No doubt.
but talk about, man, how your relationship with Christ played a role, obviously throughout your life, man, through your career, your personal life, and your professional career. Talk about that and the role it
Well,
played.
without Christ, I wouldn't be where I am today. He was real instrumental in my life. There was a time in there where I was a heathen, a backslider, and did a bunch of that during my college days, man. But the Lord was still with me. I had God praying aunties and mothers. I know I stayed in their prayers. They was always praying for me, and their prayers got answered, man. And now I'm a humble man. I'm 55 years old. I'm humbled. I got grandbabies now, and so and it's only by the grace of God that I'm still here, able to love on my grandbabies and love my family, my kids, and just be here. My mom is still here, so I'm grateful for that. And man, it's just a blessing, a blessing to be here and just to be a help to the family.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially right now with everything that's going on, with the COVID, everything that's been happening the last year or so, it's really, these are the times where you really need to be close with Christ right now, especially right now. Even
Like I
though,
tell everybody,
yeah,
you're not promised tomorrow, man. So
you're
if
not.
if you got loved ones and everything, you need to tell them you love them every day, man, because you or them may not be here tomorrow. So and it's too late after you're gone for them to tell them you love you, for you to tell them that you love them. So I just say, just tell them every day, man. That way they know for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, Ickey, your Cincinnati Bengals, okay? They currently sit right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
They currently sit 10-6 right now, man. They're first in the AFC. Okay. Joe Burrow, second year quarterback out of LSU,
Mm-hmm.
Heisman Trophy winner. We all know who he is. Led them to a national
Right.
championship that year. He's playing his guts out right now. He's playing really well as well. As Jamar Chase, all those other guys. So, what
Yeah.
is your key for Cincinnati to continue this level of play going into the postseason and for them to, maybe win the big game, go to the big game? What are your keys for that?
Well, consistency, man. They got to stay consistent. You know, we got to keep Joe Burrows upright. You know, we got to keep him off the ground. You know, the offensive line has got to protect him. And you know, as they go into the playoffs and get deeper into the playoffs, it's been a long time coming, man, because they hadn't won a playoff game here since I played. So that's been a long time. It's been over 30 years that they hadn't won a playoff game. Now they've been to the playoffs, but they hadn't won a playoff game. So it's been a while since they won a playoff game, and I think this is the team that can win a playoff game and have a possibility of making it to the big game. But you know, they got to stay focused. They gotta keep their heads into the game. They got a great coach in Taylor. I didn't think too much of him when he first got here, but as you know, as he got the program together, and these guys start buying in to the program. And then another good thing that we did is we went out and got players who come from the winning program. Right. Like you said, Burrows won the national championship. Chase comes from LSU, who's won a national championship. You got Higgins from Clemson, who's won a national championship. You know, so you got guys who have won coming to the program and instilling that winning mentality, and it's fun to see, man. I'm just excited. You know, the Bengals actually called me this week, want me to come and do some things on their next week for the playoffs. So I'm excited, man. The city's excited, man. Everybody excited about these Bengals and Joe Burrow, man. And it's good to see, man. We've been a long time waiting for this to happen, man. So we're gonna absorb it, you know, but it's not over yet, man. We still got a ways to go. You know, they got Cleveland this weekend. Yep. A game we should win, but a lot of our starters are probably not going to play this game, or they're going to play very little. You know, get those guys some rest, so they'll be ready for the home playoff game next week. But I'm very excited, man, about the team. So and I love for them to win, because when they win, it helps me out when I'm out doing my fundraising, you know.
Right. Yeah. So, the Bengals, I really think they have a chance to go really far this year. Right? Like you said, the team is well put together, and they've gotten guys, you know, who have won, like you said, in the past, you know, like in college, LSU, Clemson with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. And also, they, like you said, they're bought in. And when everybody's bought in, that's when you win football games. You got to have everybody on the same page. Chemistry is critical at that level.
Very critical, yeah.
Very critical. And you know that. You play in the league, so you know how important that is for everybody to be after one goal on the same page. So that's extremely important for Cincinnati and how far they go.
No doubt.
Yes, sir. So, Ickey, everybody knows about the Ickey Shuffle, right? your famous celebration dance that you always used to do. Yeah. So we all know about that, but tell us the story of how that came to be. What made you want to do
happened, that? Man, we was getting ready to play the Cleveland Browns, man. I flew my mom in for a game, and me and my two oldest kids at the time were 5 and 2. And I just got up, man, and started acting silly and just jumping around. And I was like, Mom, if I score tomorrow, this is what I'm going to do. She's like, boy, you bet not do that. You bet not do that. I was like, Mom, I got to. So I kind of scored, and I just kind of put my hands in between, just hopped up and down, and just did my hands back and forth like that. And after the game, Ricky Dixon, who was our first-round draft choice the year I came in, he was like, Woods, what was that? I was like, man, Rick, that was my celebration dance. He was like, man, that ish was whack. I was like, what you mean whack, Rick? He was like, yeah, man, it was whack. I say, so what you think, Rick? You think I ought to throw some steps to that thing? He was like, yeah, throw some steps to it. So the whole week I thought, what could I do? I couldn't come up with nothing. And then 5 minutes before it was time to go out and get warmed up, I said, Rick, check this out, dog. This is what I'm going to do today if I score. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to hop back 3 times and spike the ball. He was like, oh, yeah, man, that's going to be live. So I tell everybody I was fortunate enough to be in the right place at the right time. We were winning ball games, and we made it to the Super Bowl that year, and that's why it caught on. Now, if I knew it was big when my cousin from Japan called me and told me they was doing it in Japan. So I was like, what?
Yeah.
He was like, yo, they doing your dance down here in Japan. I was like, cool. So I knew it was big. I knew it was worldwide then. So it was all about, having fun, man. And I never did it away from home. I always did it in the jungle because that was for our fans, man. That was something to get our fans riled up and just have a lot of fun. And it was a great time.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And like I said, we all know about that dance. Just the origin story, how it came to be. And that's a very interesting story, how you put that dance together. So,
oh, yeah.
Definitely. But Ickey, man, what would you say to these younger up and coming athletes, or really everybody in general, man? They're in college right now, or they're heading that way, just heading into adulthood, that next step. What would you say to them as far as how to approach,
Well, I think the most important thing that I would tell, especially the younger kids, is to get an education, right, first and foremost. Because education is something that they could never take away from you. They can take your athletic ability, they can take your chance to play ball and all that. But the one thing they can't take is this up here. If you got it up here, you can do and become anything you want to do. And then another thing, I got the 3 Ds, is dedication, devotion, and discipline. You got to be dedicated to getting it done. You got to be devoted. You got to put all your heart into it. And then you got to be disciplined enough. You got to be willing to do what the next man ain't willing to do. You got to be willing to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and go work out if that's what you got to do. And if your homeboy don't want to go with you, you got to go on your own, man. You got to be self-disciplined. I think those are the 3 most important things to get you to whatever level you want to get to. You got those 3 things instilled in you, then you can be and do anything you want to do.
Yeah, you're right, man. And like you said, the 3 Ds, I like what you did there: devotion, dedication, and discipline. When you're dedicated to something and you're locked in on what you want to do, you just got to continue to pursue that. Can't stop working. And then you're dedicated, remain steadfast, consistent with that, and then being disciplined. Are you willing to do the things that nobody else is willing to do?
That's the key. You got to be willing to get up and do it when nobody else wants to do it. That's why you see all these great players: LeBron James, Michael Jordan, the young boy Mahomes, Joe Burrow. These guys were doing things when nobody was looking.
Right.
They were out there getting it done when nobody was there. It was just them doing it on their own and getting it done. That's how you do it, man. If you gotta wake up in the morning and roll over and say, "Hey, man, let's go work out," and your homeboy said, "Nah, man, I don't feel like today," and then you roll back over and go to sleep, you ain't dedicated. You are not dedicated to you. You got to be dedicated to yourself first and foremost, and that's the only way you get it done.
That's right. Couldn't have said it better myself, Ickey. Well, hey, man, that wraps us up today for the Pursuing Excellence podcast. Ickey, I appreciate you sharing your story with us.
My brother, I appreciate you. I appreciate getting it right, boy, right on time, man. I tell you, man, I appreciate all the stuff that you're doing, man. You're a young man who's on the rise. Keep doing what you're doing, man. God bless you, and I love you, brother.
Yes, sir. Love you too, Ick. I appreciate it.
All right, man. All right, brother.
Yes, sir.
Later. Yeah.
All right, everybody, please make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel called Pursuing Excellence, and then you can find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well. Anywhere you get your favorite podcasts. Thank you guys for listening, and have a good day.